Welcome to Axie Byte, where we explain Axie Infinity in bite size. This episode, we are talking about a certain stage in adventure mode.
Check it out.
If you haven't found this out yet, you'll be glad to know that completing Stage 21 gives you a huge reward of SLP when you complete it for the first time. Stage 21 is also known as a boss stage. In this video, we'll be giving you some tips on beating this boss stage to get that sweet reward at the end. Before we move on, quick disclaimer. This is just a general strategy for you to understand and clear off this stage. The actual strategy may depend on your lineups. Some things you'll need to know first. The boss stage contains 6 phases, each containing a boss you have faced in the previous stages. Before you even think of trying this stage, you will need to have your Axies at least at level 21. So say now your team is level 21 or more, you are ready to take on the boss stage. You will want to know that because this is a rather long stage filled with bosses, it is important to power through the first few phases of the stage. Which is why we suggest that during the first few phases, you will want to immediately one-shot the enemies. This is to prevent your team from taking any unnecessary damage before reaching the final parts. Also, unlike regular adventure mode stages, you cannot afford to let your tank die. You want to have your team survive all the way to the end of the stage, so be brave to play a little bit safer. You will also learn that the enemies in stage 21 tend to use their abilities to slow your Axies down, meaning bursting them won't be the easiest. All the more reason to play it safe and keep your Axies alive. Last but not least, just when you thought you have finally made it to the end, you will come to learn that the surprises are not over yet. One of the peskier ones that you will need to remember is that the final boss has a shield called Rusty Shield. This ability reduces the damage of all your ranged attacks to 0. But don't worry, it's not too random, as the boss would almost always use it during the very first turn. Usually, if you have been keeping your Axies nice and healthy, you wouldn't even need to play a single card on the first round. Once the Rusty Shield has been used, you can then go all out with your damage, and this should set the pacing for the rest of the fight. Chances are, you might fail the first few times on this stage, and that's completely fine. Remember these tips before you begin. This stage contains 6 phases. Make sure your Axies are at least level 21. Power through the first few stages as best as you can. And lastly, keep your Axies alive to the very final stage because you will need them. And that wraps up our episode for today. Be sure to like and subscribe for more of our content and leave a comment down below if you want us to cover anything. And that's today's Axie Byte. See you on the next one.